Okay, this is the Prusa i3. We're going to be assembling the XZ axis assembly. Just the first part of it. We're not going to be nearly, it'll be nearly complete when we're done here. Okay, the first thing you want to do before you start to assemble any of this stuff is get your drill bits and make sure that you've got the ability to insert everything. Make sure the M5 rod, threaded rod, can get through this hole. Make sure that the smooth rod can go through all four of these holes. Make sure that all the screws are clear, or the screw holes are clear, and everything. You shouldn't have to mess around with this because that's got a built-in clearance spring sort of a thing in it. Okay. First thing to do is to probably push in all of the linear bearings here. You've got two here, and 3 on that. Then I would push the smooth rod into the motor side of this. These are the X-axis smooth rods. They're the longest ones you'll have, 470 millimeters. Then you will want to slide the X carriage on. I think it goes. I put it on with a 2 on the bottom. I guess you could put it together the other way around. On this, you're going to do a little bit of prep here. This is a as printed one. You need to cut out these 2 bits. Hello, you. You need to cut out these 2 bits because this is the motor or the belt tensioner, and that needs to slide into there and go in like that. So you can see that that needs the clearance there. Just get a pair of diagonal cutters, cut these bits out. Assemble this. This is the same as you saw on the y-axis. Put a little screw in there, or a nut in there, and then put a screw through it. Use a number 10 or M4 screw to secure a couple of 624 bearings into there. Insert the thing in through there and secure it with a number 6 screw. After you get that all together, slide this on to the smooth rod. You're not going to put it all the way on. It only goes about, the smooth rod only goes in about halfway on this. So then what you want to do here is you need to put a piece of like aquarium air hose to join these 2 together. The metal, I sort of hand screw the plastic tubing onto the M5 rod first, and then just kind of push it over the top of there. It's pretty darn tight. You can also use a looser tube and secure with a zip tie here and here. When you're done, you really need to have metal to metal bumping up against each other so the plastic tubing, which is quite wobbly, isn't actually supporting the Z-axis. It should be metal support, and the plastic is just there to rotate the rod. Do that on both sides. Attach the motor holder. When you attach the motor holder, I like to put it in so that the wires on both sides will go towards the inside of the printer, and so that it makes it easier to route the wires nicely when you're done. Get the smooth rod into the nut. The nut is right here. It can be a bit of a tight fit. If it's tight, I had to squeeze mine in with a pair of slip joint pliers, but it went in, and it's nice having it tight. It won't fall out on you. Then just spin the rod in a little bit, a couple of centimeters in by hand on both sides. Slide the smooth rod through the linear bearings and into the hole at the bottom that you have made sure that the smooth rods fits into, right? Oh, right. One thing, this thing as printed had a little semicircle right there, and it interfered with this ring on my motor, so the motor holder wouldn't fit down flush. So I actually had to get a pair of diagonal cutters and cut that off. Whether you have to do that or not probably depends on your particular motor. So you may or may not have to do that. So anyway, get that together, slide that in, put your top support on to either side, and then you will put it up against the frame. Need a couple of like number 6 by ½ inch wood screws. I would shoot. I don't really like. I don't know if I like the motor sitting flush on the bottom there. I guess it's okay. I don't know if there's anything to be had from isolating it or not. I guess it's just fine to just sit it right on the ground there, and then shoot a couple of screws into here, and shoot a couple of screws into here. I would do this side first because this is the side where the smooth rod just butts in, and then go over to this side and adjust this in or out as needed so that this fits up flush. Shoot a couple screws in there and a couple of screws in down here, and that pretty much does it. You've got the X and Z axis basically together. We'll be adding the extruder and the motor and the end stop switch and the belt later on. But for now, that'll get you one step closer.